It's a difficult day here in this school, especially amongst the students of the 9th grade. Their teacher is okaying their feelings. She's telling them it's normal to cry as students are trying to process the loss of their classmate. Bana Bekir, a 13-year-old, was supposed to be here today starting her school year, but she was shot dead by the Israeli forces while she was in her home on Friday.
Under occupation, you experience the arrest and killings of your loved ones. You see Israeli settlers taking your lands. You didn't live a normal childhood. What do you think can help us survive all of this? Yes, you're right, faith. We should have faith and patience.
We live in fear. When we go from one place to another, we have to take many issues into account. You might just be walking around and you hear that the Israeli forces have stormed the village. What's the fault of this innocent child? Where are the human rights and children's rights?
Even last school year, the grades were low, and I can't even pressure my students. I know that I am not okay myself. Imagine the children. They are very frustrated, and the war is affecting them so much that they can't stay focused.
Not just Bana, Israeli forces killed at least 79 Palestinians in the occupied West Bank in the last 11 months. 800,000 Palestinians are going to school today in the occupied West Bank while remembering their fellow Palestinians in the besieged Gaza Strip. People here say they're trying to secure a better future, they're trying to learn and to study, but that future looks very uncertain. Nida, Ibrahim, Jazeera, the occupied West Bank, Palestine.
We can now speak to Samah Jaber, who's a consultant psychiatrist and head of the mental health unit in the Palestinian Ministry of Health. She's joining us from occupied East Jerusalem. Welcome to Al Jazeera, ma'am. I know that you've said that the Israeli occupation is not only a political issue, but a mental health problem. Talk to us a little bit about your work there and how difficult it is.
Certainly, it's mental health. The occupation is a health issue and a mental health issue in particular. We see the catastrophic impact on a whole generation in Gaza, but also in the West Bank. The traumatic events created by military violence are affecting every Palestinian, and younger minds are more prone to be affected. We see that among children and young people. The devastating situation is preventing them from schools, which are not only safe places, but a place for cognitive stimulation and for social stimulation as well. So everything is interrupted now, and that will impact the future of this generation of the people who are now children.
Right, but so long
scholars.
as these conditions persist, the war as well as the occupation, then the problems will persist. So how do you deal with these challenges?
We need a safe place in which we can work and provide help. Until then, I think what is necessary is to provide humanitarian aid and advocacy for people who are living without ceasefire under continuous bombardment and threat. As soon as there will be ceasefire, it is very important to reestablish the health system and the school system. Both of them were completely destroyed. And I think these two systems will create the foundation for a rehabilitation for the Palestinian community that is affected by war and violence.
When it comes to education, the right to education is recognized in the Universal Declaration of Human Rights as a fundamental human right for all. And as we see under Israeli occupation, that right is not exercised, nor is it protected. What do you think are the responsibilities are for those countries who have signed on to the Declaration of Human Rights to protect that right, and are they failing?
Well, it's a fundamental right, and it's very important for Palestinians. Palestinians have been priding themselves of their capacity to educate their children. And I think any country or institution that is not providing and contributing to the advocacy of restoring that right to Palestinians should be held accountable for this neglect and for allowing all this damage to come upon Palestinians.
When children are not provided an education, what is the short-term and long-term impact of that on a society?
Short-term effect is psychological morbidity that includes depression, anxiety, post-traumatic stress disorder, and a poor cognitive stimulation. It will affect their problem-solving ability. Long-term effect includes a big change in their worldview and their personalities, spread of disorder and crime in the society.
Okay, we'll leave it there. Samah Jaber, thank you so much for speaking to us from occupied East Jerusalem.
Pleasure.
Make sure to subscribe to our channel to get the latest news from Al Jazeera.